Good morning everyone. I welcome you all to the online classes of Girls High School and College. Today we are going to study geography. The lesson that we have taken is population dynamics.
All the people who live in a particular area is referred to as the population. The total population of the world was 7 billion in 2011 and of India was 1.21 billion. Distribution of population. The number of persons living in a particular area or state is called distribution of population. It can be expressed in absolute numbers or in percentage of the total population. Population is unevenly distributed in the world. People they try to live in areas which are productive, accessible and rich in natural resources. More than 90% of the world's population live in about 10% of the land surface that is available. The number of persons who live in 1 square kilometer area is called density of population. And the density of population, it varies from area to area. As people, some areas they are heavily populated, like 1,000 persons who live in 1 square kilometer area, whereas there are certain areas which are totally uninhabited.
As you can see the map that is given here, it tells the person living in per square kilometer area, and here it says the dark color portion says that people in this area lives more than 300. That means in 1 square kilometer area, more than 300 people are living. So that shows that here, this is the densely populated area. So India is a part of this area. Then the eastern part of Asia is a part of this area. The second comes the orange color region, where the population is 101 to 200 people living in per square kilometer area. Now that is little bit lesser than the densely one. So here the region of China, the South Asian region, then some parts of Europe is coming into this area. Similarly, when you see the light yellow color region, that tells people less than 10 in per square kilometer area. Now compare it with 300. So here only 10 people are living in per square kilometer area. So this area is covered by the Russia region, Australia and the northern parts of North America. Here very less number of people are living. Basically in Russia and your northern parts of North America, it is because of it becomes so very cold in this region that people are not living in good numbers here.
According to the distribution of population, the world is divided into 3 regions. They are thickly populated areas, moderately populated areas and sparsely populated areas. Thickly populated areas, the fertile river valleys and the industrial regions are the areas which are densely populated. Now, the eastern and the southern Asia are also densely populated. And why? Because intensive cultivation is practiced there, and it is a kind of agriculture where a lot of money and labor are used, as well as the warm climate, fertile soil, it favors the cultivation of crops, as well as labor-intensive industries have also developed in most of the countries in these regions. Now, the Western European and the East Central North America are also very much populated, and the main reason for high population density because variety of mineral resources are found there and the development of industries and climate suitable for human habitation. There are certain countries that have very heavy population, that are thickly populated, and these countries are called the metropolitan urban areas. For example, New York, Tokyo, in India, Delhi, Mumbai, Kolkata are the regions that are considered to be the metropolitan urban areas that are thickly populated. Moderately populated areas. The moderately populated areas are found between the densely and the sparsely populated areas. The reason for moderate population because of the development of new industries, facilities for irrigation and mining have created employment opportunities for people, and that's why people are moving towards these areas, especially the areas like your central USA, tropical West Africa, southern parts of Russia, Eastern Europe, Deccan Plateau of India and central China and parts of South America are moderately populated areas. people are migrating towards these regions due to favorable natural and economic factors. Sparsely populated areas. The sparsely populated areas are the hot desert, the cold desert, the high mountainous areas, the thickly forested areas of Amazon and the Congo Basin, as well as the Sahara Desert. They have the sparse population, and reason behind it because the physical environment is not favorable for human habitation. Now, factors that are affecting the distribution of population. There are a number of factors. Some are physical factors, the others are social, cultural and economic factors. The first factor says relief. When you see the relief tells us the mountainous areas, the plateaus areas, the plains area. So out of all these areas, plains they support more population than the mountains. Ganga Brahmaputra plains are very densely populated than the Himalayas, because in these it is difficult to have agricultural land as well as the growth of industries and transportation and settlement. Climate. The temperature and rainfall, it influences the concentration of population in an area. Extreme climate discourages the concentration, while moderate climate, it favors the human settlement. Thus, most of the population of Canada, it lives in a narrow belt in the southern parts which has relatively warm climate. Natural vegetation. Now, dense and inaccessible forests, wherever they grow, they discourages human habitation. For example, your Amazon and the Congo River basin. Soil. The fertile alluvial and black soil are suitable for agriculture as compared to the desert, mountains and laterite soil. Thus, alluvial and black soil, it supports more population. Availability of water. Rivers are the important source of fresh water, and therefore the people try to live in areas where it is accessible. Thus, they try to settle in the river valleys. Even in desert, permanent settlements are found in and around oases due to availability of water. Mineral deposit. The areas which are rich in mineral deposit attracts people, and therefore it results in high density of population. For example, the gold mines in Australia, it attracted people to the otherwise barren desert land. Industries. Due to the development of industries in any areas, it provides employment opportunities. Thus, the people, they migrate to areas not only from the surrounding areas but far off places also. Transportation. The economic activity flourishes in all those areas which have efficient and smooth network of transportation, and the cities that are located either in the plains or in the coastal areas provide adequate transport facility. Thus, they are thickly populated. Urbanization. The urban areas have diverse economic activities and they provide better living conditions than the villages. Thus, people migrate to cities in search of work. Migration. Sometimes the government policies causes migration of people from one region to another. For example, in the British rule, the Indians were sent to Malay, Fiji and Mauritius to work on plantation. Now comes overpopulation. It says that in nature, there should be a state of balance between population and the available resources in a particular area. Only then the available resources, it can meet the needs of all the people living in that area. And this is called optimum population. A deviation from this state gives rise to conditions of overpopulation or underpopulation. Overpopulation. When the population of an area is more than what the available resources of that area can support, the condition is called overpopulation. And the causes of it are the increase in birth rate, decrease in death rate and migration of people to that area. Now, what is the impact of the overpopulation? It says that it puts pressure on the natural resources such as the cultivable land, fresh water and mineral resource, and thus results in degradation and depletion. The increase in cultivable land through deforestation leads to extinction of plants and animal species. The increase in number of factories to meet the needs of people result in industrial pollution. It leads to unemployment and poverty. It leads to shortage of food, shelter, education and healthcare facilities and other basic amenities, which in turn affects the quality of life. Now, underpopulation. When the population of an area is less than the available resources of that area, the condition is called underpopulation. In such cases, the available resources of the country remain underutilized. They are not being utilized. The causes of underpopulation are decrease in birth rate, increase in death rate, and migration of people out of the area. For example, the prairies in USA and Canada and the parts of Australia and New Zealand are underpopulated. Now there are positive and negative impacts of underpopulation. The positive impact, that there is no congestion or overcrowding, there is less pressure on the natural resources, there are enough job opportunities for the people and thus low level of poverty and availability of high per capita social and infrastructure facilities. The negative impacts are there is shortage of labor. The shortage of labor hampers the production of goods and services, hence the standard of living remains low. There is underutilization of available resources, and at times of war, an underpopulated country might find it difficult to mobilize enough people to defend it. Change of population. The change of population means the change in the number of people living in an area and during a specific time, say a decade. It can express either an absolute number or in percentage. The change in population depends on the three factors, namely the birth rate. It says the number of live births per 1,000 person in a year is known as birth rate. The number of death per 1,000 person in a year is known as death rate, and the difference between the birth and the death rate in a year gives you the annual growth rate of the population. If the number of births exceeds the number of deaths within a year, the population will increase. However, if the number of deaths exceeds births within the year, then the population will decrease. The movement of people from underdeveloped to developed areas or from one country to another with the intention to settle at the place of destination is called migration. Then comes the composition of population. The composition of population, it refers to the structure of population. Age, sex, literacy and occupation are some of the components of population, rural and urban. On the basis of the places of residence, the population of the world can be divided into two types. They are rural and urban. The rural population who live in villages. About 46% of the total population of the world lives in villages, and urban population, the people who lives in towns and cities, are called urban population. About 54% of the total population of the world lives in towns and cities. Age composition. Age refers to the number of people in each age groups. The population of the country is broadly divided into children, that is from 0 to 14 years, adults 15 to 59 years, and aged 60 years and above. Population pyramid, that is also known as age-sex pyramid. It is useful to understand the composition of population of any country. It is a geographical representation which shows the distribution of females and males in different age groups. Now, when we see that if the death rate as well as birth rate are high, then the population pyramid is broad at base and tapering towards the sea. Let's first see the population pyramid of an underdeveloped country of Kenya. This type of population pyramid represents the population of an underdeveloped country. The population pyramid shows that although the birth rates are high, still many children die in their infancy and thus very few people reach the old age. That's why if you see the area, the top portion of the pyramid, it says 75 plus. That shows that very few people reach to that age. Now, if the birth rate and the death rate are low, then the population pyramid is narrow at the base, and this type of population pyramid represents the population of the developed countries. For example, the population pyramid of Japan. The population pyramid shows that the decrease in death rate allow more people to reach the old age. Then comes the population pyramid of the developing countries. Now it shows that due to decrease in birth and death rate, the base of the pyramid has become less broad as in the case of the developed countries. There are two groups of people who are treated as dependents, those who are below 14, the infant age, and those who are above 60. People in the age group of 15 and 59 are working population and thus considered as economically active people.
Now children, we are ending here. Take care. Stay home, stay safe. Thank you.